Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone. First tonight, several Tasmanian aged care facilities are experiencing COVID outbreaks, with most residents unable to receive visitors and staff stretched, many battling the virus themselves. The Health Union has slammed the current support being offered to the facilities, calling for more Defence Force personnel as the state's coronavirus numbers reach another record high.
Aged care residents all smiles as the Australian Defence Force took the time to talk, play games and even clean this Scottsdale facility. The Mayshore Aminion nursing home now in the grips of a COVID outbreak, one of 7 across the state where several staff and residents have tested positive.
The ADF have provided some support to some facilities, but it has not been widespread enough, and we are continuing to see one facility to another facility go into a crisis situation where staff have to work overtime.
There have been 9 COVID-related deaths in Tasmanian aged care facilities since December 15. The state government says it's offering support to facilities experiencing outbreaks, in addition to that being offered by the federal government.
The teams at Public Health and Across Health are there to support the aged care facilities to ensure that services are maintained and the best available care provided.
But Labor claims the state government isn't prioritising healthcare after it rejected a petition to provide expanded services at the New Norfolk District Hospital.
They can be staffed with nursing practitioners to provide after-hour care and weekend care so that people, if they have a fever, if they have a cut, can get access to healthcare where they live. This will take pressure off the emergency departments in our major centres.
More than half the population here of New Norfolk actually signed a petition to say that it was something that was needed, and I don't feel that it was addressed adequately.
Tasmania's daily COVID infections reaching yet another high, with 2,478 new cases. The virus wreaking havoc for metro buses for the 4th day in a row, with more than 100 services cancelled today. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
A 27-year-old motorcyclist has died after a crash at Wynyard yesterday. The man and a 52-year-old woman in a car collided at the intersection of the Bass Highway and Wilkinson Street just after 2:30 in the afternoon. The motorcyclist died at the scene from his injuries. Anyone with information or dash cam footage is urged to contact police. And a coroner has handed down his findings into a crash which killed 39-year-old Lee Matthew Hosking in Huonville last year. Simon Cooper said Mr Hosking did not hold a driver's licence and got behind the wheel of a car which wasn't roadworthy. He had recently undergone an amputation of his right arm and leg and had a blood alcohol reading of 0.217 as well as cannabis in his system. Mr Hosking was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash on the Huon Highway. The coroner said the incident was entirely Mr Hosking's fault, adding it was fortunate no other person was killed or seriously injured. New tourism data has revealed the significant amount of cash visitors are splashing while holidaying in Tasmania. Spending is up almost 200% on pre-pandemic levels, with many travellers also choosing to stay longer.
After battling through a turbulent border opening, Above and Beyond Seaplanes is now reaping the benefits of holidaymakers flying high.
It's been remarkable. We've had a fantastic January and February. We're up about 25% on this time, the equivalent time last year.
Tasmanian Visitors Survey results revealed a strong December quarter, the average person spending $1,000 more than before the pandemic.
We're now getting about 90% visitors from interstate making inquiries and taking bookings. We only just started pre-pandemic, and of course it's a pretty severe hit on the business, but now we have a lot of confidence about the future.
The figures are reaffirming a strong recovery as the Tourism Industry Council welcomes the comeback.
Despite all the disruptions, all the cancellations, we're seeing visitors move around the state. We're seeing really strong forward bookings, and if we can keep this going, it's going to be a really quick and strong recovery through 2022.
A popular passenger service between Auckland and Hobart will return in early July, and business groups anticipate it will help bolster visitors in what's typically a quieter winter period.
I think our opportunity is to really have a strong shoulder season, we call it. So that's the autumn months, and all the indications and bookings suggest that April, May, June should be strong.
Meanwhile, one of the most visited attractions is enjoying an increase in foot traffic.
We're currently capped at 5,000 people, and what we've been seeing in the last few weeks is that there are lines building.
Much to the delight of stallholders.
You know, we were the first thing to get shut down, one of the last things to start again. So we've been through those really challenging times, and it's great to see tourists coming back.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, Tasmanian SES volunteers have made their way to New South Wales to assist with the flood recovery. 8 locals made the trip this afternoon following requests from their interstate counterparts late yesterday. This is the first deployment of resources from Tasmania for this particular event.
All of the people that you see behind me are highly trained when it comes to storm and flood damage operations, including operations at heights. So we will be using those skills to assist the people in the area that we're going to attend.
That can range from sandbagging through to tarping roofs, just doing temporary repairs to limit damage to buildings and that sort of thing.
10 members of Surf Life Saving Tasmania's flood and swift water rescue team have also travelled to the North Coast area to help with the efforts. Local crews are preparing to provide further support, which is expected to be called in over the next fortnight. An annual report card has revealed significant improvements in the health of the River Derwent. Water quality monitoring programs show there are reduced metal levels and better sediment quality.
We can really see the impact of the management that's happening, particularly at the zinc works, where they're extracting groundwater and processing the zinc from that, so which means it's not getting into the estuary.
Excessive nutrients and pollutants still remain a concern, with certain seafood off limits for consumption. Authorities are reminding locals to be conscious of their littering habits. INCAT workers will be waving goodbye to a catamaran they spent 2 years building for South Korea. The modern vessel is expected to be used daily for people to island hop over to SeaWorld.
For the first time in 25 years, INCAT Tasmania is handing the skipper's hat over to South Korea after constructing a 76-metre catamaran fit for ferry purposes.
They're going to trip for the Jindol to the Jeju Island, so they're twice a day.
The Santa Monica One will transport passengers to holiday hotspot SeaWorld at almost 50 knots and is built for comfort, accommodating 700 passengers and 86 cars.
When you're carrying passengers over, let's say 100 miles, do it in about 2.5 hours is much better than doing it in 5 or 6.
It's equipped with advanced safety systems, food and beverage options and 3 luxury lounge areas, but had to undergo extensive trialling before receiving the tick of approval. It took more than 2 years and 500 workers to build the vessel, the construction helping to give local businesses a much needed boost during the pandemic.
You can see by the complexity of the engine room, there's an awful lot of engineering, a lot of electronics, a lot of plumbing, the carpets, the glazing, the painting.
Officials unveiling the finished product, SeaWorld's president, whose plans to oversee development capsized due to COVID-19.
At the end, he come over to Australia and see what the result is. Everything's so well planned and followed by the plan and the budget.
Tasmanian locals are also set to benefit from the exchange.
At least $100 million goes into the Tasmanian economy from selling a ship like this.
The catamaran will set sail April 4. However, workers will be back on deck next year with plans for a second vessel already in the waters. BRIANNA, BOYLEN, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, one lucky Tasmanian has turned a $7 lotto ticket into an $800,000 fortune. The St Leonard's man purchased the winning numbers at the NEWSTEAD news agency. Owner Russell Gray was shocked his store produced the Division 1 winner. He met the very lucky man this morning.
He said, I've won twice, because he won $179 also on another quick pick today, and he won the 800,000. He's very, very excited.
It's the biggest lotto prize Russell has had since being in charge of the store. The state government has launched a $500,000 space seed fund, hoping to see Tasmania's space economy skyrocket. Local businesses developing research and exploration services will be eligible for grants of up to $100,000.
As we developed our advanced machine learning technology, we got interest from the aerospace industry, particularly around life in space.
What we have is a need for a very broad skill set based out of Tasmania. And that's electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, software, ICT.
The fund provides smaller enterprises an opportunity to develop their capabilities.
It's not just about science and having really big budgets, it's about people's everyday lives, products and services that people need and use all the time.
Nationally, the space market is set to create $12 billion and 20,000 jobs by 2030.
To the TSL, where North Launceston has expressed frustration at the scheduling of a Tassie Devils camp, forcing 6 players out of their side this weekend. While coach Brad COX-GOODYER acknowledges the importance of NAB League matches, he believes TSL experience would be more valuable than a training camp. His new look side faces a tough road trip to Lauderdale, who welcome back attacking weapon Alan Christensen.
He's had a great pre-season. He's dropped 5 or 6 kilos and looks as fit as he was when he played AFL footy, so it'd be great to have him around the ball again.
They'll be strong around the ball, they always are. They've obviously got some very experienced players, AFL experience.
The match kicks off at Skybus Oval at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And finally tonight, a young Tasmanian wakeboarder believes she can come out on top against the country's best in her 3rd major competition in the space of a month. Strong form has Abby Guinan riding high on confidence heading in to the national titles next week. 16-year-old Abby Guinan lives life at a fast pace, juggling wakeboarding competitions, training and school almost every day.
I just usually go to school in the morning, come home, and if it's good, I'll get out for a wakeboard and then probably study and then just head off for bed and just do it again.
The teenager is one of the best young wakeboarders in the country. That was evidenced by her recent success at the Moomba Masters, where in a frenetic final she crashed, then crushed, and was ultimately crowned the junior girls champion.
So that really helped my confidence, just knowing that I can compete against those girls.
That was in Melbourne. On Friday, Abby will leave her home in New Norfolk to compete at Lake Barrington. Then next week, she'll head to Canberra for the national titles.
I'm feeling really good about my tricks and still nervous because there's lots of good girls and riders out there to compete against, but I am feeling good with what I'm doing at the moment.
The overall goal is to one day compete in America. While ambition drives her motivation, she says it's the fun of life on the water that she truly enjoys.
It's just such a good community sport. Everybody can get involved and it doesn't matter on your level. Everyone can have fun.
Good evening. Slightly cooler temperatures across the state today, with Devonport the top at 19, Hobart 15, 17 in Launceston and 18 in Burnie, 17 at Low Head, Grove 15 and 8 degrees in Laowini. Satellite pictures show mostly clear skies over the northwest and cloud being pushed over the rest of the state in a south to southeasterly airstream. An extensive area of low-level cloud over the Bight and southern coastal areas of Australia. Cloudy conditions also over New South Wales and over Western Australia with some embedded thunderstorms. Tomorrow we see a high to the west of the state extending to a ridge over the south, while a low off the New South Wales coast deepens as it moves southwards, and another low is lying near the coast of WA. South to southeasterly winds of 20 to 30 knots about the northeast, and southwesterly swells of 3 to 4 metres in the west and south. And a strong wind warning is in place for the central north coast, Bank Strait and Franklin Sound, as well as east of Flinders Island and the upper east coast. A light shower or two in Hobart tomorrow and 17 degrees in Huonville and Campania. Launceston partly cloudy, a top of 19 in Devonport and mostly sunny in Georgetown. 18 in Burnie, mostly sunny in Strawn and Wynyard sunny. A light shower or two for St Helens, Swansea 16 and Port Arthur 17. And tomorrow's UV is still sitting at a moderate 5. Light showers about the southern, eastern and central areas of the state on Saturday, fine elsewhere. Sunday we'll see showers in the east, more frequent about the northeast, possible showers elsewhere, 21 in Launceston and Hobart 18. Mainly fine about the northwest and central north on Monday with showers elsewhere. Sunny in Brisbane tomorrow, Sydney 20, partly cloudy in Melbourne and a top of 34 in Darwin. And right now in Hobart it's 13 degrees, partly cloudy and 14 in Launceston, Devonport sunny and 16. That's all for this evening, Kim.
Thank you very much, Victoria, and that is all we have time for. As always, thanks for being with us. Good night.